The KenPom bracket is alive and well. In fact, it is doing very well. What's up, everybody? This is Kerry. In this video, I'm going to bring you the latest updates on the KenPom bracket, the full KenPom bracket I posted a few days ago, as well as updates from one round to the next. What we're going to do is look at the updated stats after round 2 and use those to predict the games in the Sweet 16. I like to see how KenPom is going to do each and every round with the updated stats. The other thing we're going to do is do a little bit of a seed analysis for the Sweet 16. So that's coming up here in this video. First off, Sweet 16 wins by seed. I would have stopped it at seed 6, but we do have 11 seed here in North Carolina State this year. We have 2 5 seeds, San Diego State and Gonzaga, and 6 seeded Clemson. Aside from them, all the rest of the seeds are 1, 2, 3, or 4. Here are the Sweet 16 seed matchups that we actually have here in the 2024 NCAA tournament. This was suggested by one of my viewers, and I really appreciate that suggestion. So here are just the matchups for the Sweet 16. The 1 versus 4, that is basically a 76% win rate for the 1 seed. And for this particular tournament, we have North Carolina versus Alabama and Houston versus Duke. The 1 versus 5, we have UConn versus San Diego State and Purdue versus Gonzaga. And that's about a 71% win rate for the 1 seed there. Right there in the middle, the 2 versus the 3, we have 2 of those matchups this year, Iowa State and Illinois, and Tennessee and Creighton. And we see this is the closest matchup where the 2 seed wins at about 63% of the time. For the 2 versus the 6, we have Arizona versus Clemson, and 2 versus the 11, we have Marquette versus North Carolina State. So those are all the matchups from 2001 to 2023. You can see how well each seed did against the other in the Sweet 16. Okay, so here we go. This is the update on our 2024 Final Four. We're looking at just the top 4 seeds in each region. And as you can see here, we still have 12 of the 16 teams in the top 4 seeds still at play. In fact, the 1 and the 2 seeds are all still alive in the tournament. In fact, our Final Four, where we have Connecticut, Arizona, Houston, and Purdue, is still in play, all 4 of those teams, with Connecticut coming out the champion. Now, I've had a lot of questions about how accurate are the KenPom stats in making these predictions in the tournament. While I'm still working on the historical data, we obviously have this data for 2024. So here we go. Day 1, round 1. KenPom was 12-4. Did an excellent job, 75% win rate. Day 2, that's where we had a lot of our upsets there. And KenPom was 9-7, so not as great. But, with all the upsets in round 1, that's to be expected. Then on day 3, round 2, KenPom really came in strong with a 7-1 record there at 87.5%. I want to say something about my round 2 records here for KenPom. These are only the stats that we collected right before the tournament started, and we didn't change them here in the pre-tourney stats. So in that particular case here, we had 7-1 record, but KenPom had Kentucky beating Texas Tech in round 2. But as we all know, Oakland defeated Kentucky in round 1 and North Carolina State defeated Texas Tech. So that particular game, we didn't have any team in our bracket because we missed them in round 1. That actually is a loss again in round 2. So I don't really like how I'm counting Kentucky's loss twice, but it is our bracket, and these are the pre-tourney stats. So just when it comes to our bracket, that's where we're at. And in round 2, day 4, we see that it was 6-2. So overall, the full KenPom bracket is at 34-14 for about a 71% win rate. What happens if we decide to update our stats between the rounds? KenPom does even better. The 12-4 and 9-7 round 1, of course, are the same. But then the updated stats before round 2, that means KenPom was 8-0 in day 3. Fantastic. And then day 4, it was 7-1. So it was 15-1 in round 2. That's amazing. So overall, the KenPom record through the tournament with updated stats between each round is 36-12 for a 75% win rate. With that said, I want to show you my brackets here on ESPN Challenge, my top 4 brackets, and one of these is the KenPom bracket. So Purdue 01, that means I predicted Purdue to be the winner in this bracket, and they're in the 97.5 percentile. That means they're in the top 2.5% of all the brackets on ESPN. And there's the actual KenPom bracket at the bottom. It is in the 92.7 percentile. So looking really good here using KenPom stats. So let's get to the Sweet 16. These are the current KenPom stats as of Monday, March 25th. And you can see down there the top teams, Connecticut, Houston, and Purdue. All 3 of those have adjusted efficiency margin over 30, which is excellent. And now if we go on to the predictions here, these are the predictions for the Sweet 16 and beyond. So look at that very first game there. Does that look familiar? That was the championship game in 2023. But Connecticut is favored to win 77% to 23%. Down there at the bottom, Iowa State 54 to 46%. Then we have Connecticut over Iowa State, 64 to 36%, and Connecticut coming out of the East into the Final Four. For the West region, we have North Carolina over Alabama, and that's a very close one there. Arizona over Clemson, 70 to 30%. Then we have Arizona versus North Carolina, and Arizona winning that and going on to the Final Four. In the South, we have Houston over Duke, 60 to 40%. And then we have Marquette, basically 70 to 30% there, beating North Carolina State. Then we have Houston beating Marquette and Houston going to the Final Four. Out of the Midwest, we have Purdue over Gonzaga, and then Tennessee beating Creighton, Purdue over Tennessee, and then Purdue going to the Final Four. And this, again, is our Final Four predictions based on the updated KenPom stats. And we have Connecticut over Arizona, Houston over Purdue. And in the final game, once again, we have Connecticut over Houston. But look at those percentages. The last time I made this video with the stats between round 1 and 2, that was closer to 51 to 49%. So that's it. That's the seed analysis for the Sweet 16 and the KenPom predictions with the updated stats for the Sweet 16. Really looking forward to this next weekend here. We'll see the Sweet 16 in the primetime games on Thursday and Friday, and then the Elite 8, of course, on Saturday and Sunday. My next video will definitely come out between those two rounds sometime on Saturday morning. Looking forward to it. See you then.